deal is Making Money A to Z, the reseller handbook. Hey, this is Glendon with another episode of Crazy Craigslist Story. That sexy Indian chick, but no, you're not that cute. If you remember, I told you we had a lot of regular customers, and I remember when her brother came in. I had an ad up on Craigslist for a lot of office furniture. I bought a unit and I had between two 10 by 40s, 40 offices worth of furniture, desk, credenza, bookcase, the whole 9 yards. But it cost me more to clean out these units than it did. I only paid $100 a piece for them. So I was really in the black before I loaded that first piece. And I was just blowing it out. Now what I would do would advertise a few pieces at a time, because if I put like, hey, I got a whole office, you would think you would get someone that needed that much, but I just know from being in the business that doesn't happen that often. Sometimes putting up everything you have can shoot you in the foot. So I just had a few pieces up. Her brother, we're going to call him Habib, and they had a business just around the corner. I'm not going to mention that because, you know, here we don't name names unless you really piss me off, and they didn't piss me off. And he came in and they were opening up their office. And it's like, you know, I saw the desk that you had, and he came in and his eyes got like big. He's like, wow, you have a lot of office furniture. And I was like, I did. I've actually sold about half. And at that point, I did, because I was just blowing it out. You know, $400 for a group, which was solid wood, no particle board, and very good, not great condition, because there was, you know, there was some issues with it, but probably what it would look like if it was in your office for a year or two anyway. So a lot of people were very pleased because these groups knew we're going for $1,500 to $2,000. So I'm like $400, $500 a piece. And they were going, and the best stuff I put together, and I refused to separate, because people would go over there where there was a nice group together and it's like, oh, I'll take this desk. It's like, no, you won't. The price is for this desk or this desk, because all the garbage stuff, or the stuff that was really scarred up and messed up or I couldn't refinish, I just blew it out. And I refused to let someone come in and get a good piece for that garbage piece price. And I was at the point where I had nothing but really good stuff left, because believe it or not, the garbage, and I really worked on that, went first. So he comes in and he's like, whoa, there's a lot. And this is something I've noticed. I'm not going to say it's carved in stone, but I noticed that a lot of people of Indian pursuit, persuasion, a culture, background, whatever you want to say, tend to travel in a group. You know, there's going to be at least 2 to 4 or 5 or 6. And when I saw him by himself, I was like freaking shocked. But his other brother comes in who looked like that guy from NCIS. I forget his name, but he was like the Uber assassin. The guy looked just like him. I said, you look like that guy. He said, I get that all the time. But no, I don't kill people. Not yet. I was like, okay, we'll find out. So they're sitting there, and clearly they want 5 groups of furniture. And he's like, oh, your best price. And I gave him my best price because he had his hands on the best set. And I was like, it's $500. And he said, what about volume? He's like, I'm thinking $100 a set volume. I was like, no, son, no. You could actually sell that and make money. This isn't a wholesale operation, not here. So we go back and forth. And they're beating me up. And it's about an hour. And at that time, I was like, hey, fellas, I got to go to lunch. So I will chat with you guys later. Because it was middle of the week. Didn't go to an auction that day. And I was just working on stuff around the warehouse. So I go to lunch, and they say, okay, you got the cord and everything in there. Then the next day, they come back. Because there were some times I would just not go to auctions and just work on selling, especially like when we had something like that, or what I had when I knew I had clear money. You know, sometimes you have to really focus on selling. And the auctions were different back then because they were pretty much loaded at the end of the month, and this was the beginning of the month, so I wasn't really missing much. And they tend to be very expensive when they're sparse. At that point, the first of the month, I would not go out unless I had to, or sometimes I would go just to be nosy, but I was, you know, working on selling. So the next day, I'm in the warehouse. I had sold the dining room set, some other stuff. It was a pretty good day, you know, I was feeling pretty good. So they come back, but they bring in their secret weapon. And I'm not going to lie, she's gorgeous. They brought in their sister. I mean, she's freaking awesome. and she knows it. At this time, I was dating, in my terminology, a star. It's like, when you're dating a lady who is just absolutely gorgeous, and my girlfriend at the time looked better than the Indian chick. So this was kind of real cool. And also my girl was way finer. Because she was pretty, but, she was kind of thin, a little bit thin. She wasn't completely, she had shape. But it wasn't, it wasn't a lot it wasn't a lot working there. It wasn't a lot. She was more pretty than anything. And she's working at it. She's got her hand on her non-existent hip. And she's looking me in the eye. She's like, what's your best price? Clearly flirting and everything. And then, me being who I am, that guy, I was like, look, Ruthie, you're not that cute. So let's get down to brass tacks. The best, absolutely best price I can do if you buy all 5. Not if you decide to change your mind and get one at that price, but if you buy all 5 groups, I'll do it for $375. And I knew I would do it for $350 because I knew if they bought, there was going to still be some more wiggle room, because there is no such thing as, okay, so some more. She's working me and she's like this, and the personal space thing just goes away again. Like, she's like right here. I mean, I can smell, the cologne she has, the perfume she has on and everything. And I'm just sitting there, everything. And I'm like, do. And I stuck to my guns. Because I know, because her brother, he spilled the beans. They had this, they opened up this new office. And I know you're going to be needing a lot of things. So if I just bend over and spread my butt cheeks now, that would be the expect. As soon as I see them, I need to just turn around and spread the cheeks, because that's what they're going to expect. So when you're dealing with this culture, you have to hold your ground. They're not going to respect you. Another thing, this business is really not personal. It's just that cultural thing. So we're going back and forth and everything, and then she kind of gets exasperated with me. Because I'm like, oh, no. And I'm answering the phone and, making appointments and stuff. And I'm just like, you're not getting this for less than that price, right? And she's like, and she goes with her brothers, and they all sit there and they have a conference, and they start, I know they're talking about me because, they're speaking, I believe, Farsi, whatever. But I heard, that hard-ass black man. I know it was in there. I know it was in there. And she's like, I'm at my desk, and I'm sitting down and I'm on my laptop. And she comes to the desk, and she bends over, she places her hands on the desk, and she said, look, best offer, $295, 5 desk. And I was like, See, I had a little hold card because her brother did not read the ad correctly. One of the reasons I was pulling out that furniture was I included delivery, because office furniture is exceptionally heavy. And boom, I already built that in. So I said, you know what? At the $375, that was going to include delivery. If y'all want to haul that stuff over to your office, yeah, I'll do $295. Because I had looked at them, and they're an average Indian guy, tall and very thin, and they're not strong. I saw no muscle tone on any. I think Rufy had more muscle tone than both the brothers combined. And she said, delivery? Eyes bucked open. Then another conference. Then she's comes over. If you do delivery, and at this point, she's not hands on the desk. She's come around, and she sits on the desk, and she's so close to me that she's sitting there kicking her legs rubbing up against mine. I'm just like, oh, this is so not going to help you. So she goes on, and she looks me in the eye, and she's like, look, if we can do this for $360 with the delivery, you have a deal, we'll pay you right now. If you remember, I would have took $350, right? Because, this was like, so I couldn't go, because at that point, there may have been another conference over there, another Indian conference. So I was like, no. I said, oh, no, let me think about that. And then she's like, it's only a few dollars, it's very close to your price. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know. And this is my time to work her. Gotcha. So I'll work on it because I know they need it. They've already committed to buying it. And it solves a lot of problems for them. So I'm like, yeah. And that's the point I had text my delivery guy, right? And I was like, yeah, I got a delivery for you. Just come to the warehouse now, because I knew how this was going to go down. And fortunately, he was free, and he's like, hit me back. He was en route. And I was like, okay. So by the time I said yes, he was walking through the door. And I was like, okay, boom. So they go ahead and pay me. And I was like, hey, here's Tom. He's going to deliver your furniture. And you just talk to him right now. He could deliver it right now. And they was like, what? Really? Yeah. For real. Yeah. And she just looked at me. Then the brothers went outside. Then she kind of came back because they were talking to Tom. And it was just like, be careful with the furniture. Don't scratch it. This is going in our dad's office and da. And she just kind of like looks at me and she's like, you would have took less, wouldn't you? No, don't believe that. No. Because understand, this is chess. This is not checkers. This is freaking chess. And she needs some other stuff. And I had to stick to my guns. And I was like, Ruthie, no. Then she's like, okay. And then she walked away. Then she kind of turned. She's like, you dating anyone? I said, I am. She said, I figured. Apparently she had put that Karma Sutra charm on folks and they were just mesmerized. Because, visually, yeah, she was gorgeous. But, I'm kind of guy that I like the total package. Like, if, you're kind of like just average in the face and average in the body, but it all works out. You got me. I can't have like, you can have this crazy body and your face is like, that ain't gonna work, I kind of like some continuity, and she didn't have that. And it was like funny. So about 4 or 5 weeks later, I got another ad on Craigslist. I got some more office furniture, and this time I have like bulletin boards and display boards and resource boards, because this was a scientific facility that lost their stuff. So I had all kind of cool teaching aids and whiteboards on wheels. And I'm not talking about, I mean substantially sturdy, because you could like punch this thing and it would not fall. And when I looked up the prices of that stuff, I was like, oh my God, because one whiteboard was $2,900. It was about 9 feet long and maybe 5 feet, an area that you can write. And it was adjustable because you could raise it, whatever, to the height of the presenter. And I was like, oh, this is cool. So I stuck $1,250 on that. And I had 4 phone calls about it. And here comes Ruthie, and she's like, oh, we could use that for business planning, blah, 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 blah. And she's working again. But this time, she comes in a dress, in high heels, makeup, hair's all done, nails done, And I'm just sitting here like, this is too funny. Because she knows what she has, and she's working. I'm not mad at her. Use what you got. That's God gave it to you, use it. And this just is classic, because if you've been watching my channel, you know that I pretty much work real hard to keep my girlfriends and stuff, anyone I was dating, out of the warehouse because it cost me money. But this particular time, the young lady I was dating, who was super, super sweet, the only reason we broke up is she moved. And she's like, she was off that day, and she's like, let's do lunch. We rarely don't get to do lunch and stuff like that. Okay, so she was coming into the warehouse as Ruthie was working her act. And my baby was banging. She was looking good. And you know how, women look at other women harder than we do. Don't get it twisted. The reason you get caught looking at that girl is because your girl was looking at her first. That's how she knows, because she's looking at her first, and by the time your slow ass starts looking, she's looking away and catches you. Ruthie was like, oh. And she's like, oh, you must be this hard businessman. He's so difficult. She's like, she went over and introduced herself and everything. I'm just like, this ain't gonna work. So, a lot of times when I was in the warehouse like that, I would have like open hours. I was like, I'll be here and put the address and everything, and people would come. So I had one of the people who wanted that board just show up and went to the board and was like, oh God, this is in better condition than I had. This thing's practically new. We'll take it. Will you take a check? And I was like, kind of looking. I was like, do you have like a business credit card? Cause she's like, oh, even better. I can get points. She pulled out the American Express. Understand, American Express is gonna rape your ass on the transaction fee. And swipe that, and Ruthie's just like, head spinning. Like, what the hell just happened? It's such a beautiful moment when something like that happens, because so many people work you when you're a reseller that when they just see something. Now, what Ruthie didn't know is I had 2 more of those boards. But I had it hidden, because if people come in and they say 3, then I was like, hey, you got 3, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nah, I'm not going through that. I've been through that dance, heard that song, don't want to hear it anymore. So Rufy's just sitting there like, whoa. Once again, I call my guys and set up the delivery, get the later receipt and everything, and put sold on it. And then another person who wanted one comes in and they see the big red sold sign on it. I was like, oh no, I have another one. And then Rufy's like, her head turned so quick, it was like she damn near got whiplash, right? And my girl was cracking up because I told her about Rufy. I said, oh, you would not believe this trick that came in the warehouse today. And she knew what was happening. So she's like laughing and she's, oh man. And then this other person comes in and he's like, really? I was like, yeah. So I go to the area that I've had the other ones and Rufy is like on my ass. It's like, what the hell? And she's, oh, you gotta know. So I pull out that one and damn near same thing. He's like, oh, wow, yeah, take it. This person came with cash, paid with the cash, and they came with their own crew and actually bought some other things. So Rufy's here about an hour and she's seen 2 just go like that. So she's like, she can't really get deep in her flirting act because my girl's sitting there and my girl would take her. So she's like, okay, tell you what. And she's like, don't tell Habib. Habib would be very, very upset. He'd be very troubled. But she pulled out the money, paid me cash money, and she said, just have Tom deliver. Could you do that? Could I get free delivery? And I'm like, yeah. I so love it when those things happen. But yeah, that over the years, yes, years, I was stuck with this crew for years because they came often and they brought the father and they brought the mother. And honestly, compared to the kids, the parents were like ninja negotiators. It's like they had their black belt in the go. I mean, it was just, fortunately, they didn't want anything but cheap shit. So, you know, it's kind of easy to like pacify them. But whoa, I was just like, you didn't learn from your parents because those folks were like, I have black belt in negotiation and I will kick your ass. I mean, seriously, I can only imagine that. Habib was telling me that his father damn near had some car salesman in tears. And I was like, you know, I can believe it. This dude's a trip. Now, understand that they owned a large company and they were filthy rich. Not okay rich, because, you know, over the years got to know them and everything and sold some stuff, delivered to the house. Excuse me, the mansion. See, let's give you my ideal of a mansion versus a Mac mansion. A Mac mansion is just a huge house on a small yard, and you can see it from the street and you can damn near walk up to it, okay? Like, to me, true mansions in the States, you drive up and there's a gate and there's a call box. And you can see the house, but it's kind of tiny because there's so much lawn between the house and the gate that, you know, they can cap your ass if you're trying to cross those that fence. So I go up in there and I'm just like, this, you got to be kidding me. I have been in so many Indian households and it's just amazing. It's freaking, I mean, this place was like the freaking Taj Mahal. The father was, I mean, it was seriously. And now they all lived there. Father, mother, Ruthie, and 2 brothers. And there was an auntie and an uncle. But this place must have been like 6,000 square feet, so there's plenty of room for everybody. But, you know, that's the kind of stuff that happened. And, you know, looking back on that, it was kind of funny. Because some days, you know, you were out there working and you're getting beat up and you got to concede and you got to come a little lower on price than you really want to. But when you get what you want and you get the satisfaction of rubbing their nose in it, oh my God. I love that. All right, this is Glendon with Crazy Craigslist Stories. The new deal is making money